Hello and welcome to Royal Comics Party episode 14. Today our guest is Rachael Dorn, breakdancer, entrepreneur. We talked about everything that you do now.
Yes.
Did I say art collector?
Oh, no, you didn't, but thank you.
A bunch of other things.
Yes.
Designer.
Yes.
Fashion icon.
Yes.
One of the first people I ever met who was like interested in fashion and knew about it, I'd say. Or like knew about it on a level that was beyond.
There's one thing that John Waters said on that late night show, the guy that used to be an alcoholic and then he was a stand-up comedian and now he's like a late night show host and he was on that show with Drew Carey, you know? Anyways, that guy.
The Price is Right or whatever?
Drew Carey? No.
Something,
Okay.
sure. and John Waters was on that show and he said, to do fashion wrong, you must first know how to do fashion right.
John Waters, the director?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. The Baltimore.
I think he also said, don't dress to offend your parents, dress to offend your peers.
Your peers.
That's brilliant.
I like that one the most.
Yeah.
He's such a genius. I wish I could be him for a day. I wish I could switch bodies with him for a day and then have sex with me.
Yes.
But then you wouldn't get to be you while you were having sex with
No,
John
no.
Waters.
But I would.
Would you be able to switch back and forth really
That would
quickly?
be, oh, man. I can't ask for too much. If I had one wish, it would be to be John Waters. If I had two wishes, it would be to be John Waters while he was having sex with me. If I had three wishes, I guess I'd wish for three more wishes. Yeah.
So what's your background in fashion and art?
Okay, so it's actually, it's kind of suburban. When I was younger, my parents drove me through Royal Oak when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old or something. And I saw all of these kids and I was like, they hate the mall. They're like alternative kids. They're like mall-turnitines. And I loved it. And I was like, I want to hang out on the corner with them. And just say, fuck you, society, up yours, whatever it may be, and paint my middle fingernails black. And so I did. And then from there I was like, now I have to say that to them. So that's, I guess I strive for that.
You have to say that to who?
I have to offend the people that inspired me.
On the
Yes.
corner?
Yeah. The kind of people that purvey that like mall-turnitine style, I want to offend them.
Yes.
It's one of my short life goals. I do it. I definitely can get away with that. Yes.
So how do you do it? By
How do I
dressing
offend
or
them?
pushing them or?
A little
the
bit
head
by
as they walk
dressing, a lot of it by expecting what they claim that they're all about, expecting them to follow through with physical actions. Okay,
To have
if you're at a party,
trench coats.
trench coats. If you're not carrying a shotgun in your trench coat, then
You're wasting
I'm
your trench
offended
coat.
that you're trying to front like you're carrying a shotgun in your trench coat. I need you to act on that. I don't want you to hurt anybody, but I do want you to scare even me.
I want you to be able to hurt somebody.
Yes.
Yes. Go all the way up to the point.
Yes.
I don't think these kids are hanging out on the corner in Royal Oak anymore.
They're not.
Well, they cleaned
It's a
that
shame.
scene up. Like I was on the corner for a while.
They really cleaned that scene up all. It wasn't tough because it was only like two corners.
It was like Royal Oak, which is kind of like a punk rock countercultural meeting place for a while, but then it became mall goth hangout joint. Then it was like the mass cleanup and the end of yuppification where it had succeeded.
Yeah.
The FEMA punk rock camps of 1999.
Man, those were good times. I can't believe that I'm now saying like all I want back is those poser punk rockers. And I was one of those poser punk rockers. But I really, really want that back. It's never coming back.
I don't know what is next. What is the thing? I guess We're getting old, so we can't be the punk rockers anymore. Maybe we have to become the guides of punk rockers.
That's a really good point. Actually, that's a really good point. One thing that I think is really interesting right now is that it's not okay to be racist. Mm-hmm. It's really not even okay to disrespect others' religions. I mean, some 30-somethings in the suburbs, in the far suburbs, mm-hmm. 30 miles and beyond from the city, still attack people because they're Christian or because they're Muslim or mm-hmm. because they're this or that. But for the most part, 30-somethings have really accepted that it's not okay to be racist. Mm-hmm. And it's not okay to disrespect somebody's culture or somebody's religion, somebody's ethnicity. Okay, that's fine. One thing that it's absolutely okay to disrespect is age.
Yes.
Like, it's totally cool for young people to laugh at somebody because they're old, mm-hmm. and it's totally cool for old people to make fun of people because they're young. The old people that have the magnets on their fridge that say things like, oh, so you're 16 and you think that you know everything about the world.
Right.
Well, why don't you tell me how it's done? Crap like that, which is just like, it's gentrification. It's bullshit. So one thing that's interesting is that you said we're too old. However, the people that design these photo shoots in Vogue and Nylon and even Colors, even some underground magazines, and the people that design the wardrobe for like mm-hmm. Jay-Z and Beyonce, even if they're being like some super counterculture nihilistic fashion icons, of their genre, yet they're like ironically, like super pop culture. The people that design those people are 50, 60, mm-hmm. 70 years old. The 30-year-olds, the 40-year-olds are the ones that are making it more popular for
right.
the youngers because they look young for the age or because of the way that they fashion themselves and it's impressive, or because they're the store owners, mm-hmm. And the record collectors and the art collectors. But the young kids are still making fun of those people like they know everything.
Right.
And I guess it's also kind of ironic because I'm making fun of them. I don't mean to make fun of them. What I'm saying is the people that still see that as okay to be, I guess, ageist, it's so off.
I didn't mean to say that we're powerless now that we're not
right.
18 anymore. I meant, I guess we're probably on the same page. But
we
I just
can't
meant now we have to become
the
we have to have a
martyrs?
leadership role
as
we get older. And I'm not trying to call you old. I don't even know.
No. I am absolutely. I just turned 35. And I mean, I'm not old, but I can't, you're right. We can't stand on the corners anymore.
Right.
We're on a TV show.
Right.
We can't stand on the corners anymore. It's like, I can still paint my middle finger's nails a different color than the rest of my fingernails, like up your society, but I can't stand on the corners with those kids without being, a creep and possibly a pedophile.
Do you think you kind of described like 3 different age groups, like the much older, like 50 plus? Do you see those people as kind of running the rest of it?
Absolutely.
Like if they're the ones who are kind of secretly like creating all these really good, interesting ideas.
I hate to say it, but like
nobody will accept it like directly from them. It has to kind of filter through
right.
these other age groups to be seen as
I do. I hate to reference this, but I do think it's very the devil wears Prada type thing. Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, I truly do. I think that the people that actually get to run and edit these fashion sources are the people who have their closest, like their closest assistants, secretaries, assistants, help the people that follow them around and remember, just like in the movie The Devil Wears Prada, remember the names and the important people at the party that they're supposed to remember because they just don't give a shit. It's done. They don't care. And I think that those people are supposed to dress in the fashions that they have accepted as being the top tier. Mm-hmm. And it's the older people that once they say what fashion is, they know what anti-fashion is.
How does that compare with like the visual art non-fashion world? Like the way that is structured as far as age goes?
I feel like a lot of the visual art, non-structured world with age, I feel like age doesn't apply so much there. I feel like that is an art community that's, I hate to say it, but I feel like a lot of that art community is run similarly to how like the governments run. Like you give somebody their due nod, and you're their, I don't want to say butt boy, but you know, sure, I'll say it for art's sake. You know, they're butt boy. You're to them whatever they need you to be so that you can crawl up that artistic ladder. And I feel like that's probably really on par with politics in terms of like, unless you are truly a genius and above and beyond, like somebody's trying to just say, can I just latch onto you? I'm older, can I latch onto you though? And they see that. They've seen a lot of students pass through their situations, and they've seen a lot of non-matriculated students too pass along through, and they keep up with their situation. And with the arts, I feel like somebody has to either latch onto somebody brilliant, or somebody that's just learning and good at learning latches onto somebody that's has the wisdom, or at least the insight to understand who knows how to climb that ladder. And at best, those people can end up being selling well locally, doing art for a living, and hopefully, you know, be 50 years old and get a house in Beverly Hills and live with all the other sexy 50-year-olds that live in Beverly Hills, you know, doing art. And that's really what the goal is. But then there's those geniuses that pull up, and if the right person latches onto them and the right person doesn't steal too much from them, then those brilliant, you know, idiot savant usually artists, they make national recognition, and you'll see questions about them on Trivia Craft for the arts section.
That's when you know.
That's when you know.
Right.
So what has been your personal experience with art in this area or in general? Like, just tell. I mean, you've worked in galleries and...
Yeah. I curated
else?
a show too, and I'd like to curate another show. The arts in Detroit it's just like it. I'm floored by the level of talent in the arts in Detroit. The collectives, even the structure of the artists and the artist collectives is really impressive.
You feel like that? I almost feel the exact opposite.
Really? You don't think that it's impressive at all?
I don't think anyone's making anything that's impressing me now that I know of. But I also have been living under a rock for a couple years now.
You know, I'm giving.
You know, you're hooked in though still.
Yeah, but I am giving the term impressive a little bit more credit. I feel like your standards for impressive are probably a lot higher than my standards.
Yeah, I have a real shitty
for
attitude about a lot of stuff where it's got to be really good for it to turn my head for the most part. But there's a lot of like, the stuff that impresses me is like the graffiti guys more than like just like super stylized throw up stuff, even if it's a casual like thing in passing. That can be aesthetically more impressive to me than a lot of gallery shows that I've gone to that was, you know, tightly curated and by people who are like, these are the next people that are going to come up from Detroit. Like,
Yeah.
I guess maybe I come from design more than art, though, and I'd rather see something that's extremely stylized and well designed than, you know.
I
lean toward design instead of art.
Yeah.
Or visual, like paint. I move toward design away from painting, I guess.
That
Maybe.
that totally makes sense.
Are we even having a conversation, or am I just saying some
No,
nonsense?
I'm totally taking in everything that you're saying. Like, talk louder and longer if it's your passion. I see what you're saying. There's been very few people. Gosh. All right. There's been very few people that I've been completely floored by. Mm-hmm. In terms of, let's just say the median. Okay. The median for good art in Detroit, impressive art by, we could spend this entire segment talking about the thesis of, first off, what is art?
Right.
And then what is impressive art? Hand styles, technique, humor,
right.
Drama, even theatrical. Like it gets into theatrical. And okay, when it comes to that, display, composition, all of those, then that would surely take way too much time than what's allowed. But I think that I feel your passion, Oswald, because I know you personally, Mike. Your passion for what you want, and what you want to see, that's so valid. That's so valid. Graffiti in Detroit, it's so valid. I can't believe that they've completely redesigned an entire street. That's, this went up, this was on the cover of the Free. I don't know if this was on the cover. This was in the Free Press, absolutely. According to their Twitter
page. It's on
a
page of the Free Press.
It was on Twitter.
The picture
posted,
was big.
Yes. But there was some scandal that went with the Grand River Creative Corridor and the graffiti that was going up there. And these people, Kobe Solomon, I know personally, Syntax, is an acquaintance. Kobe Solomon, however, I'm very close with. And he did the Chimera on the Russell Industrial, that mechanical lion-looking thing, which always seems to be unfinished, but there's issues with payment. And anyways, their drive is so powerful, and how much money they make per piece when they do murals for a business is they can live off doing art alone and do well. They're very impressive. The Chimera, his piece was in a Super Bowl ad last year. Yeah, I mean that's wildly impressive for Chrysler, I think, or GM. I'm pretty sure Chrysler, and it's just wildly impressive that they're still willing to give to the community by putting pieces in public spaces like that. And then on top of it, there's scandal about whether or not that's blight. The end result was that it was not blight. It was art. I think that a part of that has to do with there's not too much graffiti on the Grand River Creative Corridor, which is name specific. Like not too much graffiti there actually says Rachael was here, or
just
Rift,
that one wall,
or Syntax. Yeah, there are some walls
Rachael
that do.
Was here wall.
Yes, no, I wish. But most of it is actually like murals. Which anybody could look at, saying this is not my dick's so big I can write my name on this wall real big. But it's look at this amazing chess piece that I made. See how it applies to your community. I like that. I like that. I like graffiti a lot because people are really risking a lot to do that. My favorite graffiti piece in the city of Detroit is on I-75. You can see it if you're driving southbound. It's past the Russell Industrial, but you have to look to the northbound lanes, and you're looking at an overpass sign. Maybe it's an exit sign, but it's one of those exit signs where there's some sort of, it looks like scaffolding. It's not even like a walkway. It looks like scaffolding. Somebody has to step 3 feet to each piece of this scaffolding-looking base of this exit sign, and it goes over the entire northbound lane, and on the back of that piece, now imagine climbing up and climbing over traffic going 70, 80 miles an hour. And your legs are spread 3 feet just to stand on that. And the piece just says, in elementary style, of course, they just wanted to get that shit up. W-A-H. Wow! That is the most amazing piece. That, along with, which Mike actually pointed out to me, on the Russell Industrial on the back of a billboard, which if you're driving southbound, you can see the billboard. They usually advertise for the DIA. But if you were in the Russell Industrial and you were looking at the back of the billboard, it used to say, fuck you. Now it says shit. I don't know. It's amazing. I can only picture somebody taking a business deal to that window, who rented out that space. And when they, the business deal, when they offer their negotiations, just looking out the window with them and getting the drift. That too, just I really like the emotion that's from there. But in terms of formal art, I think that I know the median is higher than other cities. Impressive in hand style and composition and message, but somebody that specifically stands out above and beyond others, like just really just shoots beyond everybody else, I think graffiti. Yeah, I agree. Like doing shit like that, like you don't, that's the kind of stuff that I saw in magazines when I was 14 that were in, and even on the Brewster projects. That piece on the Brewster projects, I've never seen anything like that besides magazines, and that shit was like Germany.
I think a lot of Detroit cats who go out of town realize, like, whoa, nobody here is doing as much as Detroit people.
Yeah. Shut 'em Down. When Shut 'em Down was covered up, the Shut 'em Down that's right by the Russell Industrial, when that was first, when somebody painted over it and did some bullshit graffiti over it, somebody else within a week painted over it and repainted Shut 'em Down. Clearly somebody different who initially painted Shut 'em Down. I think that's a great message for what we have. What do you think?
I don't know. I like when we go out of town for comics shows and stuff, I feel like we've worked so hard to create whatever we do and nobody else who has like a comparable product or a comparable thing has done the work that we do, where I think that we could be representative of this area just because, I don't know what, blue collar origins and like, I hate to call back to the auto industry, but like that blue collar shit is built in the entire culture, which is why people tend to work super hard here. And I hate to almost allude to the Detroit hustles harder nonsense, but like we do work really hard to do the things. And that's why I think while I might be like opposed to some stuff personally, I think as a community we've got somebody's doing something, and you can go even just look out the window and see somebody's active somewhere doing something in this area.
We're happy to terrify people with our work ethic.
We are physical work ethic.
Right.
Physical work ethic. I don't think that we necessarily were raised in a situation where we understand how to dole out those responsibilities, but we're willing to be those
to take
physical,
them all on.
Yeah, to take
ourselves.
them all on. I know so many people like that. That they might say there's no good help, but they're not looking either. They're not looking for any help, and it's hard to find somebody that's going to fight your cause because they've got their own cause to fight, and they're willing to spend all their time to fight their own cause.
That's another thing that I like witnessing around here is people almost like isolating a little more, where they are going to just do all the parts of the project themselves.
Instead of looking for like a group that already does what they want to do.
Yeah.
Which we're a group, but we're still isolated from each other. Like, no, I'm going to do it.
No,
I do it on my own.
We don't dole out responsibilities
at all
here.
That scares
me. We really
me.
don't. That terrifies me.
Yeah, but then we also all know how to do everything.
Yeah.
We've done it all ourselves.
You know what's weird? That phrase, like a jack of all trades, master of none, that's got a second part to it.
Does it?
People don't usually know. It's jack of all trades, master of none, and I'm just paraphrasing this. I'm not sure exactly how it goes, but it's like something along the lines of more times and less better than a master of one.
Oh.
Yeah, but people only, shout out those first two lines, and it's like, it's you can't say jack of all trades, master of none. Like, there's nothing wrong with being well versed, and there's also nothing wrong with like having a lot of things that you're interested in well knowing that you can't master any of those.
You could also be a jack of no trades and master of none, which would be worse.
Oh.
I'd rather be a jack of
That's
many
my
of
biggest
them.
fear, I think.
I think I don't know you that well, but I think we all have enough trades.
I think that Detroit is a great example of, I don't know, have you guys heard about, like, basic bitches? You know, like,
Familiar with the phrase?
like basic bitches, the phrase,
Yes.
like somebody's so basic. I don't think that those people really exist around here. Even the people that you might look at twice and think that they might, like, I don't think that people that, no, I take that back. People do, obviously. People are basic. They like their basic situation. That's great. But it's just so much more of a market for people that are not basic, because we've watched these things that, like, for decades was what uplifted everyone, what brought people to areas, Flint, Jesus, and then just destroyed them, because you cannot rely on companies where you're not talking directly to the owner of the company. And that, you know, their profit margin is so important and their budget is so intense that they could move it to another country or whatnot. Like,
Well,
it's such a fall. Like, there's not too many basic bitches because so many people don't trust a basic situation that we're led to believe that we can.
And everyone is terrified of, you know, just relying on that one skill. Like, you used to be able to have, like, one specific skill that you were really good at, and a company would employ you to do that skill for your whole life.
Right.
Nobody expects that to happen anymore, so.
No. Nobody wants it to happen.
I guess
Because even
not.
if one person is shooting for that, their brother or sister isn't, and speaking up against it, you know, their best friends, brothers or sisters, you know, their best friends themselves, you know. I don't think that you're really going to find a social circle where everyone agrees on a basic bitches mentality like they do in other cities. I think Cleveland, Detroit, you know,
We should try
those
that
are
out.
two examples
to
of
become
just
basic
like,
bitches.
Yeah.
yeah, but that's like,
Well,
you
every
know how to
social
do
circle
fashion
is
wrong.
saying, "Oh, these basic bitches all around," and it's them that are the thing
Yeah,
that they.
no, I
hate. No
understand.
one wants to admit
Oh,
it.
these hipsters.
I am so quick to just cut down huge swaths of humanity as like, oh, this normal people I'm so disgusted with. These normal people only exist to keep my economy alive. Most people are not the 1% who's trained their whole lives towards these skills, these many jack of many trades. Most people are happy. Most of the average person is happy to just have, like, they got a big TV and they have a job and it helps them live indoors and they just do their thing, and it's a normal, regular, everyday thing, and they don't make waves and they don't try to reach for a higher plane. We are not those people. We are functioning on a very high level.
I think so too.
Culturally and artistically, which most people are not.
No, you're
Those
right.
are the basic bitches,
Maybe
you
I
know?
have on the blinders of, like, I don't know what's beyond these blinders.
I feel like you want to be far more inclusive than I do. Where
Yeah.
I am happy to be very exclusive.
Well, kind of. I don't know, because I like also want to refuse it at the same time. I'm like, no, I want to be exclusive, you know. But like at the same time, it's like I realize that I am, you know.
I hate to be a basic bitch, but I just looked at my basic watch, and it's
basically time to go.
Basically time to go.
This is
It went so
awesome.
fast.
Thank you so much for coming
Thank
on the
you so
show.
much for
Oh,
coming
by the
on
way,
the
Mike,
show.
like sometimes I do this when I'm really excited when I'm talking, and I got that from you. I try
did
to do
that.
scuba diver
You did
toy in infant pool bath. Like I try to do it all together, and I got that from you, and I will forever do that.
Thank you. It is an honor. It's an honor to
I'm
have
glad
you
to
on the show.
learn that.
I'm
gonna
you
try
guys
it.
can both mock me with the scuba move. Thank you for joining us on Royal Oak Comics Party.
Bye-bye.